And we go deeper, we find space. The space is awareness, and awareness is the space. So be very casual in understanding that it is all about awareness of the physical, then mental experiences of sensation, comfort, and steadiness.
It is sensation.
And then we are in that state of steadiness. Asato ma satgamaya, asato ma satgamaya, asato ma satgamaya. Lead us from false to the real. So whom we are addressing the entire existence that we have covered. What it means, we are asking the existence, put me into the favorable circumstances, conditions, relations, so that we can evolve and rise in awareness. That is one way to put it. Or intellectually, we raise our cognitive ability to recognize what exactly is false, so that we can enter into the reality, that peace and that happiness. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Lead us from ignorance to wisdom to knowledge. Knowledge of what? Self-knowledge. Self-ignorance to self-knowledge. False self to real self. So that is what we are doing, we are understanding. So we have been applying the best method to purify the mind. I did not talk about it, and that is what I'm going to talk. That is all about Gita. Oh, we have been doing it, yes. So why we have been doing all these conventional methods? Without applying the conventional methods, we do not progress. Whenever we want to do karma, we apply these principles. Mrityorama-amritangamaya, Mrityorama-amritangamaya, Mrityorama-amritangamaya. Moving from the mortality to immortality. From the fear of the death that belongs to the false self to the immortality, we are immortal, we are the real self. So we have to contemplate couple of times, almost couple of days in a week, asato ma satgamaya. We raise our cognitive ability. Whatever is changing in the world has to do with the false. It has to be inside our head. A cognition, a sense of awareness, or we can say we live in higher awareness. To just take an example, that how it happens just now. Become aware of the body. Yes, I'm applying the knowledge. So I'm applying all the three principles together. Oh, yes. So you are aware of the body. What the intellect says, body is composed of trillions of cells. Yes, trillions of cells. The body is not as one unit, because it is composed of trillions of cells, so it has to change. Our science says that every 7 years the body keeps on changing. So if I'm 49, so I'm not living in the original body in the first 7 years. Every cell has been replaced, yes. That is one way to inquire, so that takes you to the science. Now, so every cell. So we ask the intellect what the cell is composed of. It is composed of matter. Matter? Yes. And what is the cause of the matter? It is energy. What is the cause of this energy? Consciousness, that is the real self. And what is the cause of the real self? Real self. We have reached to the ultimate cause. When there is no cause of anything or a thing, that is reality, that is nitya, that is satya. The rest is constantly changing. So it summarizes. Now, can I have that awareness? Can I see behind that body, which is nothing but the cell's cognitive ability? While living, while even seeing the body, while hugging someone, we live in that awareness. So what happens? I live in the real self, and outer karma is done as it is. Same thing applies to any object of the name in the form. Any object of the name in the form so it means the name and the form do not exist even now? Yes. What do you mean? In appearance it exists. In reality it does not exist. And that is why we understood the entire existence manifest God, unmanifest Ishwar. It includes all matter, all energy. It includes all breath, all space, all water. So what happens? The mind becomes very subtle. It can pick up, it perceives behind the word of the name in the form. That is the meaning of this, one meaning of the mantra. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences and bring the hands down. Do you see that? That is the essence of one essence of the mantra. I identify myself with the body, so I recognize you also as an individual. The individual has a name and the form. And there the journey, there the likes and dislikes, suffering sneaks in, and it causes the delusion. We live in delusion. So whether you say delusion is suffering, whether you say likes and dislikes is suffering, whether you say that suffering, I'm not worthy of the suffering. So we have to take a stand based on knowledge, not based on RSM.
I've seen people trying to drag me into their reacting.
You are becoming a seeker, and that seeker, we must remain a seeker. And what happens, when we say karma yoga, we have to apply these principles at the time of an action. When I'm thinking, when I'm speaking to someone, when I'm acting or doing a physical action, and all the three together. Otherwise, see that otherwise, when you are sitting at your home and doing nothing, there we don't see this likes and dislikes. We don't see that sense of delusion. We don't see it. Just I'm aware. I'm fine. So what is very important, that at the time of the action I'm aware and alert. Now understand the entire summary in a different way, and that will help you get into this journey with a higher awareness. There are 10 girls. Oh, you are still young, so let me give you your example. So there are 10 girls. So now you as a boy choose one as your soulmate. You cannot choose all the 10. Then it means your intellect is not working at all. Intellect has a free will, it has an ability to choose, so it makes a choice, so it has chosen one girl. Understand now clearly. In choosing one, you said, oh, this fifth number girl, you have chosen. The moment you have chosen, you have applied the discernment. That you will be very clear by reading Tattvabodha by Swami Dayanand. What do you mean? You have applied discernment? No, you have excluded other 9 girls. Discernment is just to separate. So you have done it. And now you are not at all concerned about the 9 girls. You are more concerned about the girl you have chosen who is supposed to be your soulmate. What it means? You are already in the state of dispassion. But after long daily practice without break in karma yoga, we reach to that state. So now you see, it's a natural state of discernment. Your focus was on one girl, clear, so you have a desire for that girl, or whether you say focus or desire. So you don't talk in terms of that I'm focusing on that girl, so I have a desire for that girl, and so she is my soulmate. No, you chose one. The focus or concentration is not by an effort. But you excluded, first point, you excluded the 9 girls first. Now you have nothing to do with those nine girls, means you are already into the dispassion and discernment. Very good. Now what happens? Now there is a catch here. When I choose or focus or I desire any object in the world outside, whether that object is a person or relations or car or home, with discernment and dispassion, because that object and person is constantly changing, so there is bound to be what? There is bound to be RSM syndrome, likes and dislikes. Whether this girl likes me or not, let me ask, let me find out. I like this card today, after a week I will have another one. Oh, whether this girl really loves me or not, because she pointed me certain things. This happens because I focus or I desire or I seek an object in the world outside. Now reverse this. So discernment and dispassion is still there, but now it is dictated by likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow. You start suffering and you fall into delusion. You don't know why you are suffering, and you blame the girl that I'm suffering because of you. Now, what you did, you simply change the direction. You desire an object or a girl outside, now you desire or focus on the real self during the entire waking state. There is no chance of RSM syndrome. Real self is only one. It has no preference of likes and dislikes. Come on. It is not going to put you into delusion. Find out. The real self is not going to go away anywhere. It is not going to leave you. So that message is given by the karma yoga. There is no I hate you, I like you, because it comes from the ego. Now you desire for the real self. You are bypassing that ego. Pay attention, my friend. That is the beautiful way I understood after my master used to talk in a different way, and then I explained to him, this is what you are saying. He said, yes, this is what I am saying. So don't think that you cannot naturally focus or desire or seek real self. It is, you go to the mall and you say, this shirt is good. Why it is that shirt is good in spite of the rest? Because you have a focus. It is a natural focus. So don't think, normally people say, when they are not a seeker, they say, oh, I have to focus tremendously. I have lot of worries, I am not able to control my mind. That is a job of almost at the level of a non-seeker. You understand free will, choice. You made a choice for a girl. That is a focus. That is a desire. That is your soulmate. Now the real self is the soulmate. So when the real self is the soulmate, you don't have the RSM syndrome, you bypass the ego, etc. But you have any object outside or any person outside as your soulmate or whatever you desire or a focus. That very focus excludes you from the rest of the objects of the world, but the mind knows this is an object in the world, this is a person in the world. Anytime I have an expectation, all these expectations are going to reduce into sorrow or a joy for some time, and I will start living in delusion. That is the beauty of the Karma Yoga. Our Master Krishna explains in the 3rd chapter in detail, but we are going to summarize topic to understand that, so that we can really go deeper into the chapter 2. That is the beauty of this Karma Yoga. Now see again, when I love a soulmate, a girl, with the same example, I have to become a doer. And the doer is always seeking an experiences. So I also become an experiencer. I become a consumer. I am not a contributor. I have gone away from the Karma Yoga. Instead of a consumer, I am becoming connector, contributor. I am grateful. I keep aside that ego and the doer and the experiencer away from my system at all the point, and especially at the time of performing an action. What a life! My master used to say, what a life with a wife, and what a life without a wife. In both the cases, we have sorrow and suffering. No, I'm just joking. So you see that you can add to this beginning point of a doer or experiencer. Doer and the experiencer. When we focus on anything in the world, when we desire anything in the world, beginning point of a doer and experiencer are likes and dislikes with reference to that object. It has to result into joy and sorrow. It will definitely create jealousy and hatred. There is no way out. And the cycle of the life is now created. I continue to live in ignorance. We have to remove that ignorance by recognizing what is the false self to the real. When we drop personal likes and dislikes, now what personal likes and dislikes you have when you focus on the real self, when you desire the real self? Now I don't know anything. Even then you desire real self. You have already heard about it. Real self, that is unchanging, that is Satya and the Nitya, that is eternal and the truth, permanent peace and happiness and the wisdom. Your mind loosens the hold of that. Being a consumer, it becomes a connector, it becomes a contributor. It starts searching like the Einstein, let me understand, let me continue to search. Karma is not prompted by the likes and dislikes. Your action is not prompted by the likes and dislikes. So then but I cannot live without karma. Yes, duty. We already have underlined prescribed karmas. Connecting, grateful to that existence, grateful to my parents, grateful to the teacher and to the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom passed on by the so-called great masters. Grateful to all the relations that I have present, minus likes and dislikes. Grateful to my partners in the existence. Who are my partners? My house, my pet, all the living species. So entirely I dilute and dissolve the likes and dislikes. From where it happens? It is a mental state. How it happens? By the free intellect. I have used a couple of times free intellect, free will. Now comes to the choice. So I have to make a choice towards dharma, not against the dharma. What is dharma? What is right to do? I will do it without any preference of likes and dislikes. Now you see your mind stops getting agitated. It stops having millions of the thoughts. Mind is natural, clear. People say, no, my mind is crazy. No, how? It becomes crazy because of the RSM syndrome. We need to be free from the likes and dislikes. So that is another way. Mind at a very subtler level. Our masters have laid down these simple principles. So then what happens? Now, doer, who cares? Experiencer, who cares? So how the doer creates an experiencer? Because every time we do certain karma, the mind, due to the RSM syndrome, focus on the results of the karma. Project. Make a project. No doubt. That project, what it says, in a business project, projection. You see the projection. Projection is $50,000. You get $25,000. But you have a strong preference of $50,000. The likes and dislike comes. Why don't you are thankful and grateful to the existence? And don't leave, don't stop doing the karma based on the dharma. So what happens? You constantly create unfavorable circumstances and conditions. Whatever belongs to you, it will definitely come to you. Nobody can stop. You are bound to give me the money, you will definitely give. Why I don't have that state of the mind? Why I should have that state of the mind? So that I have nothing to care about the world outside. I am part of that existence, and that existence is taking care of me. Once I have that faith, and that faith comes for your daily experience. You wake up in the morning, the mind is still thinking in terms of likes and dislikes in reference to a particular relations or a thing, and you wake up in the morning, now you have started the karma yoga, you find everything becomes favorable. What you have anticipated negatively, you have a result of very positive life. It has nothing to do how much you get, how much you earn. My master used to say, look at me. I don't own anything. Even this monastery. You guys have a board of directors and you own it. I don't have anything. That is why I am the richest person in this world. You belong to the board of directors. You are constantly have to struggle with the likes and dislikes. You have to constantly struggle with lot of things to manage. Why should I? But at the same time, he was taking extra care of the entire monastery, the plants and the rooms, and what kind of a carpet it should be, what bed sheet should be. He was so in minute details. And everyone used to listen to him because he works with the minute details without being a doer and the experiencer. Did I tell you?
My mind gets, the more I pay
You will be surprised that my master used to remember how many blankets he donated to the monks 10 years ago and how many blankets are left and what it should be done with that, because their doer and the experiencer is not there. It's a contributor. The guy is a contributor. He is grateful to the existence. So I still remember vividly. You know, the more you love the teacher, you remember all the events and incidents with him, and that is what happened. You know why I am the richest person in this world? I don't own anything. I don't own anything means, that simply means I am not carry the burden of the RSM syndrome. I don't have any likes and dislikes. The moment I have likes and dislikes, it means I own. I want to own. I want to possess. When I want to possess, the ego takes over. The ego says, no, you did not benefit from this action, or you got benefit from this action. So again, it further creates likes and dislikes, and that is what the cycle of birth is. And that cycle of birth and the death is what Buddha says the world is suffering. Means what? The world I created based on RSM syndrome, guided and dictated by the ego inside, becoming doer and the experiencer, constantly playing with the likes, dislikes, joy and the sorrow. And that way of the life, we have been doing it, my friend, every day, every week, every month, every year, for many years, expecting a different result. We don't get that different result. There is no way we can get that different result. We will continue to have unfavorable circumstances. We will continue to have problems, and we will continue to, it will raise us, it will agitate us, it will causes lot of the problems in our daily living, in our weekly living. I covered that part, that another name of the karma yoga is the conventional methods to purify the mind and live happily. Conventional methods, these are all the conventional methods. We have to find out the best method. And the best method starts with the Gita 2, Gita chapter number 2. What it is, that is what we are going to finish today. So conventional methods, first, it purifies the mind. It minimizes the impact of the sense in daily life, and then we can move to the best method. Where is the best method? I'm going to cover. By applying karma yoga, then only we can apply the best method, because the mind is clear, it is purified. We have a free intellect that is not dictated by the mind. What is this conventional method? It's a common sense approach. If you look closely and you deliberate, you contemplate and reflect. Honey gets angry, so you look at her or him. Okay. So now, because you have to create a mental attitude before you respond. Oh, then it means you are aware. So in the field of awareness, RSM syndrome drops down. You say, okay, honey, I will respond to you. Let me think it over. You are right, or you seem to be right, whatever. If you still carry the small ego, you can say you seem to be right. Crush your ego. Or if you don't, you crush your ego completely. Yes, you are 100% right. Let me think it over and contemplate and reflect. Let him or her calm down, and then you call her and let us sit. And I can bet you that what happens, the guy or girl who is angry in a particular event, now you both are calm, they will normally admit that I became angry, it was wrong. And then you say, is this task or the work and what you said is such a big issue to be angry and agitated? Because you did not become, so you have a right to say. But if you become, then we both are sailing in the same boat. then there is no end to the suffering. We both are sailing in the same boat. I have to make a choice. So these conventional methods, I normally say, it's a common sense approach. Common sense approach. I can use another word, you are living wisely. Whether I say karma yoga, whether I say conventional approach, whether I say karma yoga is dharma, whether I say choose your right, what is right, good, you have to make a decision, you must do what is right, good and proper, and escape from what you dislike and you don't want to do it, you must do it. So that is what the part of the dharma. Whether I say it's a conventional approach or I say it is a common sense approach or I say living wisely. You are living wisely. Simple. I make it very simple, down to the earth. Am I living wisely? You can think in that way. Did I apply the common sense approach? One is angry, should I also be angry? How simple it is. Common sense. And then we have already understood the basic principles of the karma yoga, the mental attitude of being a contributor, not a consumer, being grateful to the existence every moment, and especially while performing an action. What is all this? In modern psychology, we can use the word cognitive change. With that cognitive ability, living wisely, there is a cognitive change in my life. Swami Dayananda used to have that cognitive change. He always used to have it. There is a natural state of the peace, calm, and love and wisdom. There is a rise of awareness. You love everyone. You love even that person who is angry over you. Why? RSM syndrome is absent. That manifests in love, truth, and wisdom. In that state, mind reveals many powers. Don't think that when you are awakened, then you will gain power. So, find out, continue to do it and see that what happens. You'll be able to go deeper into those people with whom you are living. You'll have flashes of those visions and colors, whether it's negative and positive, because RSM syndrome is not working. So you get those flashes and the visions and the colors, and you put it before the free intellect, because that intellect is not dictated by the mind of likes and dislikes. So you can take a right decision at that moment, and that is going to change. Ego is just like one wave in the entire water. That water is the real self. Ego is a reflection of the real self, like the wave to the water. And that ego makes us forget that I am the water. And there comes the problem. How he forgets? Just before this, I had a session. So he was asking me, no, you tell me that how can I remember these principles? How simple it is, you listen and learn. So I gave him one phrase, and you can also write down that phrase, is very important. We will use a couple of times. Listening and learning from a teacher with discernment and dispassion means preparing for higher meditation. Listening and learning. Now you repeat listening and learning alone, with yourself, with discernment and dispassion, is meditation.
I think you said that in the talk last night, which I caught. I see that. But one thing.
We need to repeat it again and again until we reach to that state. So I told this guy, I said, what happened? I just cracked a joke and I said, I was reading a book. Title was How to Increase My Memory Power in 1 hour. So I read the book in 1 hour. I went out, I returned to my room, and my mind says, I forgot where I have kept this book. He understood it immediately. He started laughing. He said, no, you are too much. I said, no. So don't ask me how to memorize these principles. Don't ask me. You have to find your own ways. If you follow it, it will happen. So what happens? One more element, because that word will come, vasana. Whether you say vasana or whether you say sanskaras. So the word vasana, sometimes I have translated before that it is nothing but the past impression, sum of all the impressions accumulated, reservoir of the karma. Karma is also the vasana. You can use another word, the karma. Now vasana, another meaning that we should understand, the mind is seeking peace and happiness from an object in the world is vasana. Mind is seeking peace and happiness from the real self, because it is the real source of peace and happiness. You are a seeker. So if you continue the life with the vasana, it will bring in RSM syndrome at any point of time in your life. It has to bring. It has to cause you the worries. How many vasanas? We have trillions. What do you mean by trillions? I like this girl, for example. You simply said, I like this girl. And you said, in the society, it is easy. We can rationalize. I like you, it doesn't mean anything. I simply appreciated you. No. You did it. It did it with RSM syndrome. That I like you creates minimum thousands of impressions, multiplying it with the past impressions that is already present. So I have to maintain my alertness and awareness. So I say, yes, I appreciate you, I love you, I like you. But in the moment, in the mental state of karma yoga, not in the state of casually, no casual thought, no casual speech is going to work in my life. Casual speech means I'm guided by the RSM syndrome. No way. I'm just pointing you out. I have understood the American life, so that's why I'm that's why I'm talking. Casually we talk about it. So I've already told you, hearing of the sounds in meditation, visions in the colors, inner calm in the relaxation is always maintained. You remain indifferent to the outer events. Why you remain indifferent to the outer events? Your focus, your desire is not there outside in any object or any person in the world. It doesn't mean that you don't love. You love everyone. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Another thing that we should also understand, another part, I normally talk to many people, that we are connected in the world with highly unpredictable, uncertain conditions, people relations in the world. We don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Whether it pertains to my business, in my relations, anything. Unpredictable. Why it is unpredictable? Because of the existence. But now, because of the karma yoga, I am already a contributor to the existence. So, how dare you, existence, create any unpredictable situations? And if you have really created, it is good for me. I can realize that. So in both the ways, I am not at all suffering. I am not at all. So means, not suffering means I have a purity of the mind. I have the sense
I always like to tell people, if you
attitude. Karma yoga, you're doing everything as it is, but the quality of the doing is changed. The quality of the speech has changed. The quality of the action has changed. Why? Because now you are connected to the entire existence. Previously, ego was doing a particular action. Now the entire existence is supporting me to perform that action. That makes a tremendous difference. People do not understand and they say that I want to be a seeker. No, you cannot become a seeker without understanding these basics. So karma yoga helps me to connect to the existence. Now see the other part of the story. All our achievements, success, prosperity are related to the existence. You remove the existence and tell me what you have achieved until today. Remove the existence, minus your achievement, minus your success, minus your prosperity. No way. There is no way. All our achievements, I am indebted to that existence. That is why I am a contributor to the existence. I am not a consumer of the existence. Inner thinking makes a tremendous difference. What to talk when you apply that? Then I don't see the entire existence is separate from me. I'm a part of one insignificant part of that existence. And that is why I am a contributor. I am grateful to this. Insignificant. I am not even like a mosquito as compared to the entire cosmos. But I create an ego which I feel is bigger than the existence. That is the cause of all the suffering in our life. Karma yoga, it is a lifestyle modification. Sometime when the corporate executives teach me, I have to teach, I say it's a lifestyle modification program. I don't say that it is karma yoga. So I'm using these words different ways. It's a lifestyle management program. You know how to prevent the unfavorable situation conditions in your life, how to progress further, how to rise in awareness, how to be creative, all those things. You used to say that karma yoga is the shock absorber. Sometimes people say, I have still to do. Oh, I recall that I did that incident of that woman comes to my house when I was in New Jersey, and she was working in Fortune 500 company. Her boss was also a woman, and she was unnecessarily putting the pressure, and she was ready to leave the job. And she discussed with me. I said no. Why no? I said you endure her pressure. How to endure? So if she says you have not done this, I will do this, ma'am. Just give me an hour. It is hurting my ego. I said your ego must be hurt to the level so that you dilute, you dissolve it, your ego. And if no result comes, then I said I will leave my profession. What else I can say? I cannot pay you. I don't have money. Anyhow, she started doing, and after 3 months, she reached to that state. After 6 months, she told me that my boss loves me too much. Now it is the same boss, same situation, same working, but now she said she loves me. She told in front of the entire group. She said it is really damn difficult, but if you accept the challenge, it changes your perspective of the life. So nothing to be sad, nothing to be angry, nothing to be upset. You have created that part in your life. I have talked about the charity, etc., etc. Also, I have talked about this, so I will leave that part that we will take up as the things continues in our life. Now see that what happens when we have understood this. We are grateful to the existence. We know the minute details of the karma yoga. Sometimes you use it as a conventional method too. Sometimes you use it as a lifestyle management. Your mind should look the benefit inside without getting attached to any object of the world. So you see that if someone has become agitated and you are still calm, it is the benefit to you. Why? Because you are able to crush your ego, and that is required in our daily life. Then what? Now we have doing the karma yoga daily, and we continue to purify the mind daily, and we will be able to uproot the reservoir of the karma. We will create more merits. We will minimize the sins from today's, for example, and previous sins will definitely give you the result. If you have committed sins, and we all have committed sins, so it will create some unfavorable circumstances because you are doing karma yoga. It will not impact you. You will be able to endure. You'll be able to endure. So this is how the give and take mechanism starts at the conscious level with an individual to the existence, and that existence is always supporting us. So this is one way.
I wrote, endure my sins and give my merits to the existence.
Yeah. So now, best at every moment you see it. Sometimes what happens that we are talking to our dear and the near ones, and we didn't like it, and we hide it. So there we have to also work on it at the subtler level. We have nothing to hide. There is no hide and seek game. It is clear. My head is clear. I have a free intellect. I have a free will. There should not be any element of the RSM syndrome because I hide it. It has already created an impression of this, and it is going to create an unfavorable condition in my life. So that is what I wanted to give you a basic foundation. So now what happens? I have understood karma yoga. I am doing karma yoga every day, every moment. I told you, at the time of acting, at the time of this thought, speech and action, I'm thinking about something, about some person. I have to apply karma yoga. Not all. You need not to do it all the time. You're going to the restroom, it's okay. It's a part of the life. There is no preference of likes and dislikes. That's why it doesn't require any karma yoga. So I have been talking about these are the conventional methods. What is the best method? Best method is self-inquiry. That is all about yoga. That is all about Gita. What do you mean? Self-inquiry we have not been doing. Yes, we have been doing the self-inquiry indirectly, but with reference to certain actions that we need to perform in our life. Self-inquiry, that is the entire journey of Gita. Self-inquiry has three elements: Shravanam, listening and learning from a teacher. Second, contemplation and reflection. Means you repeat listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. Your mind becomes so much clear that your mind naturally absorbs into the meditation. And the third step is self-realization or nididhyasana. Self-inquiry demands thinking. It demands a right query, right question. From where I get this knowledge? From the Gita. From the Gita and other texts. Because you see, the science, no branch of the science teaches you who am I. It is only the Eastern wisdom. And the cream of the books is Gita or the Upanishad. Tell me any religion says who you are. They simply brand you are the soul. There is the Holy Spirit. And then there is a God. No, but tell me who am I? You are the child of a God. What does it mean if I'm the child of the God? Is the God suffering? No. Then why am I suffering? I'm suffering because of the sins. So they go on extending. What is the best method of purification of the mind? It is the self-inquiry. I have wrong notion about you. Let me do the self-inquiry. When you meet me, I get crazy and react. Let me do the self-inquiry. I want to know why I react. Why my mind says you are not good. But what it has to do if you are good or bad. It is situational. It is emotional movement with the likes and dislikes. Oh, I got caught up in the RSM syndrome. That is why I say I get crazy and react when I meet you. Oh, it is because of the RSM syndrome. I think and reflect that word is good or bad should not affect me. Because I am doing the karma yoga, so it makes the things clear to me. Then I look at my mind and ask why my mind gets crazy. And I recognize that something happened with you maybe a year ago or yesterday, which contains an element of likes and dislikes. I'm just contemplating and reflecting. It's a self-inquiry. Everything is happening within the mind, and you are in front of me. Is there a possibility to say goodbye to that mind which says you are crazy or I react? Yes, it is possible. How it is possible? I know that it has nothing to do with me. I go as deep as possible through contemplation and reflection with reference to the word so that I purify the mind. Further, at the subtler level, self-inquiry helps you to purify the mind at a very subtler level. Now see, when all the impurities are gone, you are already with real self. What? Yes. Inquiry, which is the best means to purify the mind. Who said this? Krishna. Where? We'll talk about it. In many chapters, including in the second chapter when we start. But the foundation is conventional method. Without applying the conventional method or karma yoga or living wisely, I have used living as a shock absorber, this self-inquiry will not take place. Be very clear. Be very clear. We used to give an example of Ganesha. You offer your namaste to Ganesha. Why? I told you before that this in form outside, that is an expression of the karma, and the spirit inside. Form outside, spirit inside. Do you remember? Do you recall? Now see the Ganesha. I do namaste to the Ganesha. Why? I visualize his large ears. Means I am listening and learning to the principles attentively. You see that I'm translating the principles into the form of a Ganesha. That is why I do Ganesha. That is why I do Namaste to Ganesha. It is such a beautiful way. Oh, it has large ears. means that I'm listening attentively with awareness, with absorption, complete listening without any likes and dislikes. My mind is ready to follow what I have heard. Large ears represent listening and learning, the principles. Large head means I need to contemplate and reflect. Big head means contemplation and reflection. Now you do namaste to the Ganesha, your mind will remember the knowledge that you have. Oh, large head, I forgot to contemplate and reflect. The small mouth, no blame and complain against anyone. Small mouth, whatever I need to speak, I speak. I need not to speak too much. Too much of speaking results into blame and complaint. One couple said that, I have been living in calm and peace. She sent an email. I will not tell you the name, and then she said, my honey does not listen to me. So I have left him on his own. I said, thank you very much. Wonderful. You are not a seeker. What should I say? That is how the teacher finds the excuses. We're not ready to listen. Small mouth, he loves. The small mouth means that person loves listening and learning, ready to listen from a teacher. No more blame and complain. He has one tusk. What does it mean by if he has two tusks? Then the mind is divided. There is a path of what is right and good, that is path of the Shreyas. That is why he has one tusk. He has no other tusk which leads to prayers. What I like, what is pleasant to me, that I will focus. He has small eyes, indicates, when we have a tremendous focus, our eyes get small. So he has a small eye. Ganesha, he has a large belly. Large belly represents he has a power to consume and digest all that is good and bad in the life. He can digest, he can endure. He has nothing to complain, nothing to blame. That is why the Ganesha has been depicted. Now you see that all those masters have created images of these gods and goddesses based on these attributes. So every day we meditate on the image supplied by the knowledge explanations. I used to do Goddess Kali. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnumaiti Shabdita Namastasyai 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 Namo Nama. O Goddess, you are all pervading power. That is why this existence is constantly moving in flux. And that is the reason I am grateful to you. I am grateful to you. I am grateful to you. You see that goddess. Now, in goddess of the Tantra, people take that Tantra tradition in a different dimension. That you already know, and I also know it. I need not to talk about. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti Rupena Sanstita. Now see that. What this means? O Goddess Durga, you are seated in every human being as peace consciousness. What about if the near and dear ones is becoming angry? That anger belongs to the RSM syndrome, not to the real self, not to the Goddess Durga who is sitting in her. Now you have separated discernment and dispassion. You calm down. So like this, there are many gods and goddesses. We have 330 million gods and goddesses. Only 330 million gods. And every god is depicted. Just to go in a different little deviation so that you should know it. And we will talk in detail about it. So if you don't want to worship or prayerful attitude towards these gods and goddesses, no worries. So we have a geometrical figures. These geometrical figures are known as the yantras, and the Tantra Yoga specializes in that yantra, the geometrical figures, geometrical diagrams. We have over 20,000 these yantras, symbolic, they also represent the same god and goddesses. For example, take an equilateral triangle pointing upward, that represents Shiva. Equilateral triangle pointing upward represents Shakti, the goddess. Both together, Shiva and Shakti. And then we have a mantra. Then we should know how to practice mantra with that yantra to invoke the powers vested in it. Three sides of a triangle, it represents knowledge, desire, and action. If I have a right knowledge, what is the right knowledge means? I should have a right desire. What is the right desire? I focus on the real self. I should follow the right action. The knowledge, desire, and action. It also represents Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna in a different context. So like this, we have many yantras. And those yantras are very typical. In a way, very typical that, for example, you pick up a yantra and you have a mantra, then I have to guide you. I have to sit at least for a couple of hours to guide you that how to practice meditation on yantra. And then you have to spend minimum 2 to 3 hours without break for continuously, minimum period for a 6 month. One result, definitely purification of the mind. That we get purification of the mind by doing karma yoga and by understanding these principles, reaching to the self-inquiry. Another attraction is that we get some powers. Depends on our past impressions and the current state of the practices. Like thought reading, very small. Some other small, easy powers. That has nothing to do with our journey of the evolution. It doesn't make any difference. I have seen lot of people. To chapter 2, we will start with the Gita, and there every master says so that this chapter 2 is everything that the Gita wanted us to learn. But then there are many areas are left out. That is covered in the rest 16 chapters. You see, it talks about, say for example, the conventional method. But it does not say that conventional methods are also of 3 types, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. So I still have little left out that what is the Sattvic conventional method, what is the Rajasic conventional method, and what is the Tamasic. So what happens when we read those chapters? Oh, we become clear, oh, I have little these areas unattended. Let me attend to it and continue to evolve.